Hello, hello, hello. And welcome to HODL Harmony, where the beat of the blockchain meets the rhythm of riches. Are you riding this crypto wave with me? Who am I? You might say I am Tom Durante, the maestro. I am but a humble crypto enthusiast who got into this wild world back in 2020 with just a GPU mining rig and a passion, a burning passion for passive income. So yeah, I am bullish. Let's see, I almost had it. I am bullish on Bitcoin, Cardano, and now Midnight. I don't have any Midnight merch. I need to get my Midnight merch from somewhere. I'm bullish on those, but I also like taking profits on other coins whenever possible. Let's see, here on HODL Harmony, expect some videos that will show you some market updates with simple technical analysis so you can read those charts, wallet guides to keep your coins safe, and other things, all kinds of interesting things to keep it going here. Remember, none of this is financial advice. I'm just a guy with some opinions. But yeah, we're just going to take a look at some things and see what we've got going on. Today is the very first time. I'm going to turn the music down just a little bit. I think it's all right, but I'm just going to turn it down a little bit. Today is the very first time we are broadcasting live on X. There it goes. Went up, then it went down. And of course, my Stream Deck decided not to work for me as I was getting set up to go on. And so, yeah, that's making things a little bit more complicated. I have to click buttons all on my own. And I can see we got 9 people watching on X. This is really cool. So hop in the chat, say hello. Let me pull up something over here. I got some stuff to look at. We're going to take a look over everything. And, you know, the things that we usually take a look at, some market sentiment and things like that, whatever else is going on. And then I've got a couple of outlooks for the year ahead. So stay tuned for that. We're in it for a little bit of the long run here. I've got you pulled up here. Wow, we've got 12 views already. People coming in, coming out. If you're stopping by for the first time, please say hello. I think most of them are on X, so this is pretty cool. I just finally got everything hooked up so that I could broadcast on X. So if you're one of those folks who I interact with, I like your stuff, I repost your things, I make snarky comments on your things on X. If you're one of those people and you just saw HODL Harmony live, well, this is new. It's kind of new. I started broadcasting recently the other video, my charts and chains, and I'm getting wise as to how to keep these things going 24 hours a day. So we're going to work on that on my end. But anyway, let's get into it without any further ado. It looks like everything's working. It looks like everything is working, which is great. So anyway, let's get into it. Let me click some more buttons and do some more things. I hope you're having a great start to your year. We're just getting started off, and it seems like right now it's a pretty good time. Let's see what we're looking at. Browser view, there we go. It looks like right now, this very minute, is a very, very good time to be talking about crypto. So I'm excited about that. Can you see that? Yes, you can. You can indeed. Look at that big old candle. Look at that. You know what I need to do? I need this right in front of me. Trying to do too many things here at once. And unfortunately, you can't do everything. Why is that not live? I'm just trying to see what I'm doing here, but I can't get a feed of what I'm doing, except for on the computer, without clicking away from the screen I was on. So anyway, let's move on here. So yeah, like I said, this is I was getting everything prepared to go live, and I was like, well, hey, this looks like it's panning out to be a pretty good time to get on and talk about Bitcoin for the first time this year. So I want to start off, back in the day, last year, I used to try and use Grok to, talk about what is going on in the market and things like that, and try to aggregate the news. And it just was not very good at it. It was really not very good at it. It kept repeating things. It kept doing all kinds of random stuff, and it was just not great. So luckily, this industry has some really smart people in it. And one of those people is the Crypto Crow, who I watch pretty religiously. I try and hop in the live chats and, kind of be present. And, I'm just trying to be, doing some networking and be a part of this community and just have my voice be heard and things like that. And, when somebody comes out with something cool like this, I definitely want to use it because it's useful to me. It's useful for all of us to get some good information, and we can even vote up and down if this is useful, if this is great. So yeah, let's just take a look and see what we got over here, and we'll get through all these tabs that I have open to talk about all of that stuff. Let's see that big, okay. So looks like our fear and greed index is still in the fear. That's okay. I think we're getting better. I have a feeling it's gone up. Let's see. I think later on we will see. Let's see. I thought I had one that was like a graph, but anyway, this one here, it says 26. So let's see the market sentiment. We've got a lot of bullish stuff, a little bit of bearish stuff out of 103 articles. And our Bitcoin, the percentage market share of Bitcoin, basically. We've got Bitcoin at 57%, which is pretty decent. I think it fluctuates, and you see as the other ones kind of come up and down. I don't know why Cardano says 0%. That's interesting. Cardano definitely is going to be part of this 30%, but it's definitely not 0. So that's some kind of a glitch there. I'm not sure. Ethereum 11%. All right, so Bitcoin price predictions 2026. We're going to get into that. I'm not exactly doing price predictions. I'll talk a little bit about it, but that's not super interesting to me. That's not really why I do things. Like, yeah, the price is great, and yeah, I try to figure out what it's going to do, but obviously we can see that nobody has any idea what it's going to do. So we can predict all we want, but there's no way to know unless you're in the institution who's controlling it right now. Then they know. OSL launches Ripple USD stablecoin trading with zero fee promotion. Ripple USD trading launches on OSL, marking a regulated push to expand stablecoin adoption with fee-free access, institutional grade compliance, and new on-ramps. Okay, so those are the kind of things that are going to get people to really use crypto without, fees, as a barrier to entry, basically. Overall, I think when people start to use this technology without really realizing that they're using this technology, that's when we'll start to really see the adoption that we need, or that we know is possible. Did I forget to name this properly? I'm just looking at the name. I got my thumbnail right, but I did not get the title right. So thank you for clicking on this, even with a weird title like 6/2025. Even though it is not episode 40, it's episode 76, and it's not a weekly. I guess it's kind of a weekly rundown. We'll leave that, and we'll put AI predictions. I have so many things I'm trying to do when I'm trying to go live, and then when I see little mistakes, I'm like, oh crap, I need to fix that. How do I save that? It's not scrolling down for me. All right, let's take a look here. I'll fix that later. Let me take a look on this side real quick. Oh, look, I see some chat. That's what's up. Hey, it's Chris Klein. Enter in the chat. How we doing? Wrong keyboard. I'm just going to fix my title real quick. Hope everything's going well. It's been a while. You've been missing from the Discord, but I did get some of your messages before. Let's see. Today's the 4th of January episode. I'm so sorry. It was just going to bug me. Okay, there we go. And now I can save it from this. Let me reload this other page. Everything is going really well. This year's getting off to a great start. Let me just refresh this page over here so that maybe, there we go, my title's normal. So if that bothers you, do a little refresh on the video and you'll get a normal title, hopefully, because I just fixed it. Except on X. I think I can fix that afterwards on X. But anyway, we still got 10 people watching. Hopefully they're not all bots. I like it when people watch my videos. All right, let's see. Back into it. All right, so let's take a look at another one here. Anything catch my eye? And then we'll move on to our graphs, because there's some exciting stuff happening right now. Bitcoin Core sees development uptick, reversing multi-year decline. All right, and we've talked a bit, because I do host a node, of which I did have to recently redo everything. We're starting fresh this year, but I do host a node, so I do care, and we have talked about the core versus knots. So interesting to see that after, I didn't know it was a multi-year decline of Bitcoin Core. Let me just take a look at this real quick. So Bitcoin Core is one of the node softwares that you can run. And so they are, basically a custodian for the Bitcoin network and how it works. So they saw a significant uptick in development activity. Okay. I was thinking development as in developers. Okay, while mailing list traffic up 60% year over year. Ooh, mailing list. Okay. 285,000 lines of code. Now they're going to put this in my way. 285,000 lines of code changed. Yeah, they're doing some things, and we've talked about it, basically. So I'm not sure. This doesn't seem to be very critical of them, which they definitely deserve some criticism. We'll get into that another time. I'm looking ahead here, looking at the year ahead. All right, let's move on here. Let's take a look at what our graph is doing, because look at that. I just put in the chat last night in my Discord. I was like, did we just close a candle above 90K, a daily candle? I think we did, and I think that means now that we've closed a weekly candle above 90K. So let's take a look at this. Let's go. Is this a daily? Let's go over here. So daily candles. And just like my last short did pretty good. When in doubt, zoom out. Just like the last short I had. We just closed a daily candle above 90,000 for the first time in about a month or so. I can't get this to look right. Hey, there you go. That's a little bit better. At least I could work with it from there. Yeah, so we've got significant resistance here at 94.5. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. Basically, I mean, like I said in the intro, I don't really talk about it, but this is just simple technical analysis. I am not looking at the Fibonacci retracements. I'm not looking at the whatever waves and whatever other things people are looking at. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff on the chart. Overall, this whole ribbon here, if it looks complicated, it doesn't need to be that complicated. It's just various moving averages, and just the ribbon. I think on my charts and chains, I put one on the night, and it's just like a big broad range. Just think about it as a big broad range of this is what the price has been doing, and what is our time frames here? Yeah, so 5. I think, what are these, days or weeks or something? I don't know what the interval is, but these are all the intervals that are in that little wave right there. So just to kind of decode what's happening. So all I'm really doing is just holding my cursor here and saying, okay, this one right here is the highest. And then you can look up at the top and you can see the high is 94.6. So, and that's right where I've got my cursor. So $94,600.46, $646.36. So that's our resistance, right? And we're starting to push up towards that. Now on the daily, if we look at a weekly, yeah, this is like the first up week we've had in quite some time. And it finally feels like we're getting back. Let's see what TradingView's AI says is happening. Oh, that's not that. That's not that. Let's go back to my hourly, because that's just a beautiful sight right there. I want that. I want to see that as much as possible. So let's see what the AI says here. Bitcoin spot inflows surged by about 1,671% in 5 minutes, wow, causing significant price changes and short-term order flow shifts due to strong capital purchases and active market buying. Yo, it's Dragon's Den. I just saw that. What's up? Let's go. Look at that beautiful green candle. On January 1st, 2026, Bitcoin ETFs saw inflows as institutions returned to the market after a quarter of selling for tax reasons. That makes a lot of sense, with many now buying Bitcoin. Venezuela's potential seizure of Bitcoin could create major supply shocks, reducing liquidity and possibly driving up prices. This differs from the past events like Saxony's 2024 sale of 50,000 Bitcoin. So that would increase liquidity and decrease the price because it's more available. Supply and demand, very simple. So yeah, so there you go. We just got a beautiful candle opening up. Let's see what we have for Cardano. And we are breaking above 40 cents. Let's take a look back and just see how significant this is. There it is. So yeah, so same thing. We've been a little bit more of just a stair step down type of thing. You know, we stopped up here, 69 cents. We stopped here at 60 cents and it just kept dropping. We got one here at 48 cents. So it appears, I mean, just things looking how they look, that just looks like it's going to keep going, or maybe it's, maybe finally we can start breaking. I think we're starting to get the price action that we've been really waiting for too long. It was a really bad end of the last quarter or whatever, last part of the year. It was just like, whoa, what is happening? This market is just tanking or whatever. It was just not great. But this starts to feel more like crypto, more like bull market crypto that we remember. So that's what I like to see. And I can see it growing a little bit more in there. There it goes. It dropped a little bit. So yeah, market is waking up. Something's happening. It's Sunday. I always like watching what's happening on Sunday. Especially, like I said, I'm up all hours of the night. So I usually see price action happening in the middle of the night, like 12, sometimes 2, and things like that. It's just like whatever's happening all over the world. All right, and like I said, I am bullish on Bitcoin, Cardano, and now midnight. Let's take a look at midnight. It's, bleeding out a little bit. But let's go over the day, because there's not as many daily candles for this, because it is brand new. It doesn't even want to show us. All right, let me reload it. Oh, there you go. That's better. Okay. So yeah, there's not very many daily candles to work off of on this one. And we're just starting to get some moving average things starting to come in here. So you can see this is obviously, this is the shortest term, and then this would be the longest term. Moving average is just starting to get some information going there. And we see our volume. We have some really nice volume. For the price to go like it did that first day up to about, I think it was about 12 cents and all the way back down, that's not a very big volume candle for that big of a price movement. But like I said, it's a brand new thing. There's not much liquidity, especially on the first day. So that's interesting that not a whole lot of volume. I guess relatively it's a decent amount of volume. And then a bunch of pressure selling, and then continuing to climb. And man, I built up a nice little bag of night, and we'll be talking more and more about that as things develop. I'm also in, along with Dragon, I am in the Midnight Ambassador program. And we'll see what that amounts to. I'm not really sure. There's not a whole lot of information at this point, so we're just kind of still hoping and waiting and seeing and whatever. So here we go, midnight. Let's see what happens. All right, so something really super exciting that almost kind of caught me off guard a little bit. I was not really prepared for it. I personally was prepared for it, but just to see how it happened and everything that was going on, it was just like a super shock. It was interesting to see. And what I'm talking about, of course, is the price of Bitcoin. No, I'm talking about the price of silver. This is a silver Bitcoin round that I got. I love silver, and I've been investing in silver pretty much my whole life. My dad taught me about coins when I was really young, so I'm super into numismatics and all of that. And so it's very interesting to see an asset that I have known to value over the years, and then when I finally had some money to invest, that was something I chose to invest in, and seeing it go from my investment of about $14 an ounce, and then more heavily at about $30 an ounce, up to where we're at now at $73 an ounce, with some serious price movements upwards. I think it was somewhere around 80, with trading in China happening about 85. So there is some serious upward pressure or whatever influences in the silver market. And just to see it come and just skyrocket up into the top 3 after being wherever it was. I'm sure we could look back on my old videos where I would show this, and I don't remember where it was. It may have been 7 or 9. I don't remember where it was. It was not on my radar, that's for sure. I just knew I was like, this is a long-term play, but it's really been panning out this year. It's been an interesting year last year. So gold market cap, number 1, of course, still. Nvidia, keeping solid, number 2. And then we've got silver here. Really, like I said, really shocker. So over the last 30 days, a 3.5% price increase. So that's incredible. As you can see, the other ones are doing 1.2%, which is still phenomenal for these markets and things like that. I mean, that's why they're the top three. But yeah, 3.5% is incredible. And so here we go. Bitcoin, 1.3%. Still pretty decent, keeping up with the Joneses over here. But 5%, what is this? TMC? Let's see what this is. Taiwan Semiconductor. Anybody surprised about that? What was that? 5%. Wow. Yeah, so chips, silver, which is in literally everything that you use on a daily basis. I didn't realize it. I always thought gold was the best conductor of electricity, but I guess it is actually silver. So there you go. If you got silver, congratulations. It's been a hell of a year. All right. So Bitcoin search term. I always just like to keep a look at this. We're starting to climb. We're starting to go up and up and up here. So that is great. Keep that coming. When was this? So yeah, about Thanksgiving, a little bit, the week before Thanksgiving, we hit our yearly high. This is a 12-month time range on this search term. So the highest it had ever been up to that year was November, because this is, oh no, yeah, interesting. So here, I mean, yeah, that's interesting. So relatively speaking, when we were getting some serious price action, this would have been the top, obviously, but now that's a little bit higher. So that is hopeful. So once we recover from this, hopefully we'll get back into some really euphoric times. I am very ready for that. All right, so this is AI, and you remember AI was also, this was the highest it had ever been, and that was all time it had ever been. So there's that. That's pretty interesting. And what is interesting is that it's kind of dropped and fallen out. Maybe it was like a little bit of a hype. We know it's a bubble, as far as investing, because, from way back in the 1960s, anything that was a bubble, everybody had to have that name. So like you start to see everybody have AI in their name. I think it was, I can't remember what it was, but it was something that was clearly not even a digital product, but they put in AI in it. It's a bubble. But it's a bubble that is going to influence a lot of the future here. So pay attention, certainly. Learn to use it, don't fight it. And then I put in a couple of other search terms that are interesting to me. Of course, Cardano, and of course, midnight. I did a couple different variations of that because obviously that is a word in the English language. So it's going to be searched for a certain amount, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's the crypto project that we're talking about. And then I just put in privacy, just because. So Cardano, way down at the bottom in blue. Midnight, because it is a word, not just a crypto project. I guess Cardano is also a word, but so midnight, looking at 76. It's been, look at 100. It could be a coincidence. It could be a crypto coincidence. I don't know. But that December 28th, so that's the end of the year. Basically when the token launched, which was right about here. And then it started going up. Coincidence? I don't know. Something I want to keep my eyes on, because any other variation of this, like Midnight Network, searches basically none. 0. Less than 1, which I think qualifies as 0. Network token. Less than 1. So I just stuck midnight because I figured people would be like, oh, I heard about this midnight. Let me put in midnight. I also put in night, and that didn't do much. So anyway, there it is. We're going to take a look at these and how they track over time. Let's look at something else. My water bottle and something. Remember, your body is mostly water. Get your daily dose and stay hydrated. All right, so we are looking at the crypto.com. What? Why does it look like it stopped over here? Let me refresh this. Although I did. me just refresh it again. No, that's... Huh. Okay. Well. Oh, the Coinbase app. I'm so sorry. So is... What? So is crypto.com not a thing anymore? Let's see about that. Let me see about that. I have crypto.com. And I haven't looked at it in a while. So let's find out if it really is not a thing anymore. That's interesting. Maybe it's just fell out of the rankings. I don't know. Anyway, we're looking at Coinbase, not crypto.com. Coinbase ranking as a top signal. Right now it is 428. So we are not at the top. And Coinbase looks like it is still a thing. So there you go. It must have just fallen out of the rating, of the ranking, of the whatever. All right, so here we are. Let's take a look at this. Number of active Bitcoin addresses. Just as a measure of market health, network health, basically. Just to see, just because I'm curious. Reset zoom. Let's do... Oh, well, that's cool. I can go about it over the month. 3 months. It's got some pretty significant swings. So that just means people either go dormant and then they start to use things, and they go dormant and they start to use things. But I mean, that's kind of how it works. Like, once your Bitcoin is in cold storage, you don't really need to use it. You don't really need to look at it. I mean, you can look at it without being active on the address, moving things around and whatnot. So I don't know. It's just something that I like to look at and I find interesting. All right, let's go over the month. Look at the Bitcoin difficulty. So this is the mining difficulty, because remember, I got into this world through mining. So I do enjoy mining. I still have my ASIC running, a couple of them running. I've been having some trouble with some of them, but basically we had a big significant drop in difficulty in December, early December, and so we're adjusting then. That must have been a difficulty bomb or something. All right, and so then they have some market sentiment here. Okay, so we can see all of our volume for big top coins and things like that. We're gonna see. So obviously Bitcoin is the biggest. ETH, XRP, Sol, is that Zcash? And then there's ADA. Okay, I was looking for ADA. USDC, Doge, Pepe, BNB, SUI. So we're gonna start to see this little mix up here change. How many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, about 20 or so. Official Trump coin. Interesting. A lot of people were talking about that, saying it was dead, but oh, it is negative 72. That seems pretty dead. So yeah, I want to see midnight up in here. That's what I want. Top gainers. Okay, look at this. Very nice. Top gainers. Doge, XRP, ADA, BNB, BTC, WBT, whatever that is. ETH and Sol. I want to see midnight in there. Get it to me. Get it to me now. Okay, this is cool. So sector performance. I like all these little metrics here. This is really cool. Supply and profit. Okay, so there you go. Where's midnight? I thought it was in the top 40 or something. Midnight, there it is, 54. All right. Interesting. All right. Well, there you have it. That's all. We're gonna definitely be using this. This is Glassnode. I just made a free account and logged in so I could save my stuff and look at it. It's pretty useful. All right. So before we get to this, which is my X bookmarks, let's take a look, because you've been so patient. I appreciate you. This is the beginning of a great year, beginning of some exciting stuff going on for the channel, for my life personally, for you guys, and for everybody. I'm literally just here, I feel like, to network and start a community. That's, because I've been thinking a lot about, like, what are we doing? What's the future looking like? And things like that. And yeah, that's really what I think that my mission is to just connect people, bring people together, and help the masses understand what this crypto space is and why it's useful and why we should care about it. So, going forward this year, I asked two different AIs. I got Grok and I got Perplexity. And so I asked them both the exact same question, which is, can you give me a reasonable outlook for the crypto space for 2026? Emphasis on my top three: Bitcoin, Cardano, and Midnight. What does the next week, month, quarter, half year, and end of year look like? So I took that prompt, I put it into both of them. And this is a disclaimer: cryptocurrency markets are highly volatile and speculative. All outlooks below are based on analyst consensus, recent market reports, and trends as of January 4th, 2026. Prices can swing dramatically due to news, regulation, and macro events or sentiment. This is not financial advice. Always do your own research and consider risks, of course, as always. So current prices 91 to 91.5, and is that, I don't know, I have nowhere to see the price right now, so that was when I was just starting the stream. 39 to 40 cents for Cardano, and about 9 cents for Midnight, recently launched in December 25. Now in the top 100 by market cap. That's pretty freaking amazing. If we could just stop and read the words that are on the screen for a second. In the top 100 within its first month. That's pretty cool. Night is the native token of the Midnight Network, a privacy-focused sidechain developed by Input Output, the team behind Cardano. It uses zero-knowledge proofs for data protection and serves as governance and gas tokens. Wait a minute, I don't think that's right. Governance and gas, maybe it is. I won't question it. In case you didn't know what Night was. So the overall crypto space outlook for 2026. Analysts view 2026 positively as the dawn of the institutional era. Key drivers include clearer U.S. regulation under a pro-crypto administration, accelerating institutional adoption, example, more ETFs and corporate treasuries, expanding tokenization, real-world assets like funds and private markets, and growth in privacy or tech sectors. 2025 ended mixed. BTC down about 6% on the year to date, leading to some carryover caution. But 2026 expects rebound with Fed rate cuts, broader investor inflows, and Bitcoin potentially breaking traditional cycle patterns for new highs, aka the 4-year cycle. Which, again, I think DB Crypto posted it. The 4-year cycle relies on 3 or 4 data points. It's like, what? How could we build a model on that? Anyway, where are we? So risks include quantum threats, market selectivity favoring top assets, or macro downturns. The Bitcoin outlook. Bitcoin starts 2026 in consolidation after 2025's dip, but consensus leans bullish long-term due to institutional support and scarcity narrative. So over the next week or month, high volatility is expected, possible 5 to 15% swings, likely range-bound 85,000 to 100,000, with minor upside if sentiment holds or dips on profit-taking. Next quarter. Quarter 1, 2026. Consolidation phase. Digest 2025 volatility. Potential low around 90,000 before rebound. The half year, mid-2026. Momentum building, targets 105,000 to 150,000 plausible, with rate cuts and inflows. And the end of year, strong upside. Predictions range $125,000 to $250,000 Bitcoin, with many eyeing new all-time highs greater than the previous peak. Reasonable midpoint is $150,000 to $200,000 if institutional trends accelerate. Well, that's super exciting. I haven't read any of this before, so I was reading that and getting excited, and I was like, wow, whoa, that's what we are all hoping for, or at least I am. So that's interesting, and it does make a lot of sense. To tax loss harvesting is a thing, So that really explains, what has been happening over the last, who knows how long, month. It feels like 6 months. All right, so let's look at Cardano's outlook here. ADA underperformed in recent years, but benefits from ecosystem upgrades. The Chang hard fork. Remember Chang the World? Whatever happened to Chang the World? That never did anything. And Midnight's launch, boosting visibility. Because no matter what people say, no matter what these idiots think on Twitter, X, Night is good for Cardano. It really is. And if you can't understand that, there's a word for that. Let's see. So next week or month is volatile. Tied to Bitcoin, possible 10 to 20% moves, short-term range 35 cents to 45 cents, with upside if midnight hype continues. The next quarter is a potential recovery to 50 cents, 75 cents if broader altcoin rotation occurs, which it definitely did not last year. Over the half year, building on fundamentals, target 75 to $1.50, realistic in bull scenario, and the end of year, a wide range, bearish 10 to 30 cents if market favors Bitcoin maximalists, and bullish $1 to $3 with strong adoption and midnight success, reasonable 80 cents to $1.50, assuming ecosystem growth. That does not sound great. I'm not gonna lie. That does not sound like $15 ADA. That's like, yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. But I don't believe it either. But that's okay. This is CryptoPotato.com. So yeah, you never know. You never know. All right. So midnight outlook. And remember, this is just one take. We got another take to look at, and it was way more in depth. As a new token, launched in December 2025, Night is highly speculative, but tied to growing privacy demand in a regulated era. Next week and month, extremely volatile, likely 20 to 50% swings common for new listings. Range 7 cents to 15 cents, depending on volume and claim activity. Yeah, because claims will start to unlock. They already have. Mine will happen in about 20 days, I think, my first claim. Over the next quarter, discovery phase, price discovery. That is so exciting. Potential climb to 20 or 50 cents if decentralized apps and adoption ramp. And there's a big game plan. There's a big push behind midnight. So this could be super conservative. Over the half year, tied to midnight milestones, mainnet features upside if privacy narrative strengthens, and by the end of the year, high uncertainty or risk could 5 to 10x, as in 50 cents to $1 on success, or drop below 5 cents if hype fades. I don't think so. Reasonable about 30 cents to 70 cents if it holds top 100 and builds utility. These are super conservative outlooks. In summary, 2026 looks constructive for crypto overall, with Bitcoin leading, ADA potentially recovering via ecosystem plays, and Night offering high risk, high reward exposure to privacy tech. Short-term remains unpredictable. Focus on longer horizons for these assets. That's the idea. All right. Let's see. Oh man, let's see this, because that looks pretty good. Just a little check-in, because I've been getting some alerts, and I was like, oh, some stuff is happening. So let's take a look at what Perplexity has to say. So same question. Can you give me a reasonable outlook for this crypto space 2026? Emphasis on Bitcoin, Cardano, and midnight. What does the next week, month, quarter, half year, and the end of year look like? This is really cool. Oops. I thought I could just click on those, but that's really cool. Oh, there you go. That's really cool. Next, it doesn't know what midnight is, does it? Oops, that's not right. Okay. All right, let's see what Perplexity has, and we might have to correct it because I don't know what that is. Crypto in 2026 looks structurally bullish, but very volatile. Let me grab a drink here. Remember, you're mostly water. Get your daily dose and stay hydrated. I feel like I'm like way over in the corner and you can't see me, but I don't know. You gotta let me know. And I guess I'll be able to tell when I rewatch this. Crypto, blah, 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 very volatile, with Bitcoin likely remaining the main driver, as always. ADA benefiting from Cardano scaling and institutional push, and Knight acting as a high beta, higher risk play on okay, so it does know what Knight is. Higher risk play on Cardano's privacy and zero knowledge tech. None of the timeframes you asked for can be predicted with certainty, of course, duh. But the balance of current forecast and roadmaps lean towards choppy upside rather than a fresh, deep bear market. And just to address that, I think everybody thinks that we're in a bear market or whatever. I do not believe that in the least. This is a normal part of a bull market, and the cycle has elongated. We've had the last two cycles, this one, which is not over yet, and the last one in 2021 were two peak markets. I was really hoping for a blow off top, and I think we're going to get that that's kind of jumping ahead to like how I feel about what's going to happen, but that's what I feel is going to happen. We're going to have a big, gigantic blow off top, and from what Grok was saying, it's going to be gradual over the year, and then boom. Maybe, we'll see. I mean, it all depends. All of this means nothing because anything can happen. So that's what you got to be prepared for. But yeah, just as we are still in the cycle from 2025. We had the peak, we had a big drawdown, but I don't think that was the end. And certainly we're not heading into a bull market with crypto president, everything going towards that direction. So I don't think this is over yet. That's just more on that later, I guess. But yeah, so just to address, I don't think we're in a bear market, and that validates what I'm been saying. Below is a practical outlook for Bitcoin, Cardano, and Knight across your time buckets. Okay. I got lots of buckets. I didn't know I had any time buckets. Framed as scenarios, not promises. Well, thank you for remaining calm, cool, and collected. Perplexity. Macro and BTC backdrop. Research firms and exchanges now expect Bitcoin to outperform stocks and gold in 2026, helped by Fed rate cuts and a pro-crypto Trump administration stance, which supports risk assets and ETF flows. Institutional forecasts cluster around a late 2026 Bitcoin range of roughly $120,000 to $170,000 in mid-range scenarios, though some models show upside far beyond that, and others see potential for a negative return year as the market matures and cycles flatten. Not likely, in my opinion. Short-term model projections for January show Bitcoin oscillating around the low $90,000 range with a modest positive drift, reflecting a consolidation phase rather than a blow-off move right now. Implication for all your coins: expect 2026 to be driven mainly by Bitcoin's macro cycle and ETF institutional flows. Alt performance will likely be a beta on top of Bitcoin, not independent. It's an interesting take, kind of based on what has happened over the last year, maybe. Okay, Bitcoin outlook by time frame. So over the next week, forecast tables from technical indicator sites show Bitcoin meandering in roughly the $90,000 to $97,000 area through mid-January, with daily swings of several percent, consistent with a choppy range rather than a clean trend. which is what we've been seeing. Macro calendars are light on new shocks immediately after New Year, so order flow and ETF demand are more important than fresh news. I really like how in-depth this is and how much more information I've been given. So this is good. You're going to see more of this. Next month to early February, model projections suggest Bitcoin could maintain an average near the low $90,000 range in January with upside wicks toward mid 90,000, but nothing in the data rules out a sharp 15 to 25% correction if leverage builds. Analysts describe Q1 2026 as a consolidation phase, where markets digest 2025 volatility and rebalance portfolios, so grinding sideways with sudden spikes is more likely than a straight trend. Next Q1 is widely seen as a time for Bitcoin to build a new base after a weak 2025, with some research arguing that the old 4-year booming crash pattern is softening, and institutional liquidity deepens and drawdowns stay shallower. Price alert: ETH has risen above $3,200. Some of you might be excited about that. Let's see. In practice, I don't know if I read this part yet. In practice, that often means less chance of a 70 to 80% crash, more chance of a wide 25 to 40% trading range where ETF flows and macro headlines push price back and forth. Over the next half of year, forecasts aggregates for 2026 as a whole give indicative ranges where Bitcoin's average price could be in the low to mid $100,000, with scenarios spanning from roughly $130,000 on the conservative side to $150,000 and above on more bullish models. Whether that happens by mid-year or later depends heavily on Fed rate cuts, risk on appetite, and how aggressively large institutions rotate from gold and equities into Bitcoin. Well, that's interesting. I can add a follow-up. I can check sources. This is really cool. I haven't hopped on Perplexity in a while. All right, end of 2026, institutional and research desk mid-range targets center around $120,000 to $170,000 by late 2026 if rate cuts continue and ETF adoption grinds higher, while more aggressive cycle models envision substantially higher levels, and some macro voices warn 2026 could even end red if the current cycle is already overextended. I mean, like I said, anything's possible. From a risk management view, it is reasonable to treat anything above $150,000 as upside scenario rather than base case. And keep in mind that a flat or slightly negative year is still very possible, even in a mainstream Bitcoin era. It's going to be interesting. We are entering an era of growth for all of this, so it is definitely interesting. All right. Let's see. This is super in-depth. Let me go to the year. We're just going to go to the year. Longer range ADA views for 2026 typically assume, I'm just going to scroll slowly so you can stop and read it if you want, but I'm just going to go to the end of the year. Likely to follow Bitcoin's range, quarter to half a year. Okay, so longer range ADA views for 2026 typically assume most of the Basho scaling phase and key roadmap upgrades are live, which could justify ADA trading materially above current levels if TVL, total value locked, and real usage catch up. Many realistic scenarios still see ADA below its prior cycle highs unless Cardano captures significant DeFi enterprise market share. So treating revisiting the old peak as upside rather than base case is healthier from a risk point of view. Were there prices? I didn't see any price in this. No, that's okay. Okay, let's look at midnight. Okay, so this is kind of short. What night actually is? Okay. What Knight actually is. Knight is the unshielded native and governance token of the Midnight Network, a privacy-first sidechain to Cardano that uses zero-knowledge smart contracts for rational privacy. Knight secures the network and produces Dust, a non-transferable resource that pays for transactions, letting dApps cover user fees while keeping the governance token visible and compliant rather than fully hidden like classic privacy coins. Market position right now. Knight trades as a mid-cap asset, around top 50 by market cap, with a circulating supply in the tens of billions of tokens, and a market cap in the low billion-dollar range, which makes it liquid enough for trading but is still small compared to the majors like ADA. As a new zero-knowledge privacy infrastructure play tied to Cardano, it is likely to behave as a high-beta satellite to ADA and Bitcoin, with outsized reactions to both Cardano developments and any significant Midnight partnership or listing news. So, time frame view. Week to month, Knight will probably be almost entirely sentiment driven, reacting to Bitcoin ADA moves and any exchange listings, ecosystem announcements, or development updates. Price swings of 20 to 40% in either direction inside a month are normal for a token at this stage. Quarter to half year, the big question is whether Midnight can attract real dApp builders, especially identity and compliance and enterprise privacy apps. Visible traction here could let Midnight materially outperform ADA in bullish phases, but also sell off harder in any liquidity squeeze. End of 2026, if Cardano's 2026 roadmap plays out and Midnight becomes the de facto privacy and compliant zero-knowledge layer for Cardano and possibly beyond, Knight can evolve into a core infrastructure asset. If adoption stalls, it risks drifting like many layer 2 sidechain tokens. Alright, so here's the summary, the summation. If you've been sleeping up to this point, time to wake back up and hear what Perplexity has to say. How to think about your three together. Bitcoin is your core, macro-driven, ETF-supported, and increasingly less explosive, but more structurally solid. Anchoring the portfolio weight here lowers the chance of catastrophic drawdown, while still keeping a large upside. ADA is your platform beta. It offers high upside tied to execution of the Cardano roadmap, but still lives or dies with Bitcoin's overall cycle. Treating it as a growth satellite around your Bitcoin core is sensible. What about my Bitcoin Knight? Knots. Excuse me. I'm getting tired here. Knight is your speculative engine, a focused bet on ZK privacy and Cardano sidechain future, with much higher idiosyncratic risk, size small enough that a full 70 to 90% drawdown would not wreck your overall stack. How do you know? For the next week, month, quarter, half year, and year, think in terms of scenarios and position sizing rather than exact targets. Assume Bitcoin drives the bus, ADA amplifies the ride in both directions, and Knight is where you accept the most volatility for potential outperformance. All right, well that is certainly very interesting, and we're going to get back over to this just to take a look. Thanks for sitting through all that. I hope that was informative for you. It was interesting to look at and see. Basically, we don't know what's going to happen. I could have told you that. And in fact, I did. Something else exciting that's coming is the Lace mobile wallet. I don't know what they're all saying about it, but he's saying, hey, it's great. It's going to be great. You want to get it? It's pretty great. I'm getting tired of talking aloud after reading all that, so we're going to blaze through this. Bitcoin is now $93,000. I just looked at that, didn't I? Okay, not quite on my chart, but we're getting there. Let's refresh. No, we don't need to refresh. It's right. That's right. That's right, too. And that's also right. All right. Those are all right. So yeah, looking forward to the Lace mobile wallet. And yeah, based on what they were saying there. Midnight takes no sides. Midnight connects all blockchains and leads the 4th generation of blockchain. Leads. Here it is. Leading the ecosystem in participation. Look at that. Leaps and bounds ahead of, even Bitcoin. That's a pretty big leap. Almost 15%. And then Bitcoin is higher than Ethereum, which is higher than Solana, which is higher than BNB. And XRP are pretty close. Avalanche. That's nice to see up there. And the basic attention token. And all the others. I don't see Cardano on this list, which is unfortunate. It must be part of that 30%. But look at this. In participation. Oh, that's Cardano. Duh. I don't see Cardano on the list. There it is right there. It's number 1 with Midnight. Because of Midnight. Midnight is good for Cardano. Duh. And this was 2 days ago now. The first Bitcoin block was mined 17 years ago. I don't know. My ex accounts are like all. It's confusing. Anyway, so imagine waking up in 2011. We're gonna end it on this one. This is pretty cool. Imagine waking up in 2011. Bitcoin is trading at 50 cents, and this website is giving away 5 Bitcoin just to solve a CAPTCHA. Oh, jeez. 15 years later, you realize that was generational wealth given away for free. The only thing you needed was to HODL with conviction. How many of you, if you were given 5 Bitcoin from the Bitcoin faucet, how many of you would have held? Looking back, you say, oh yeah, absolutely I would. But you don't know. Something that was 50 cents went up to $1. You might be like, oh, I need a coffee. If you had just held on to just one. Anyway, so we're gonna get back into it here. Whether I do weekly, whether I do whatever, I'll be here, and you'll be here too along for the ride. So come back for more. This was a big success on X. I got 15 people. I don't know if you're bots or not. Nobody's chatting, but it's okay. My YouTube peoples are chatting, and we will go back into the Discord. We will retreat back into the sanctity of our Discord. So come back, check us out, become a part of the conversation on our Discord. Join us. Catch me on X in the comments and whatever. I went to Steak and Shake again because it's right by where I do a lot of piano work up in Tampa. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go through the drive-thru this time because I just want to get some food and go back. And I got this little thing. It says, congratulations, you've got a free $5 Bitcoin gift card. To claim, visit bitcoinmealdeal.com. So I haven't actually gone to that yet. So let's take a look at that together before we go on about our evenings today. So I gotta hit the button again because I didn't hit the button. I miss you, Stream Deck. What happened? There you are. Okay, so bitcoinmealdeal.com. And I had to ask for it because, dang it. Because it's not actually on the drive-thru menu, but it's in there, so. Okay. Yeah, there it is. That's my beautiful burger that I keep getting. So, I don't know how to do this. Oh, I probably have to get some app. Buy a qualifying Steak and Shake Bitcoin meal. Get $5 in Bitcoin from Fold. Oh, okay. Buy a qualifying meal. Upload your receipt. Do I have that in? I don't think I do. Promo code and pin for $5 in Bitcoin. I mean, it's probably worth getting that $5 in Bitcoin because, where'd it go? It's probably worth getting that $5 in Bitcoin just for the appreciation. So I'm going to go back and get me some more Bitcoin meal deals. If they're going to do that more than once, I will get me some $50 in Bitcoin from eating burgers. Because, as a kid, I ate a lot of Happy Meals so that my mom could get all those Beanie Babies. So I'm doing my part. All right, well, I got to get on about my night here. And I really hope that you enjoyed this. Thank you for spending some time with me. Thanks for being here and just checking it out. If you want to help out the channel in our mission of growth and growing, we absolutely are. I'm seeing a nice big uptrend in views, watch hours, and now that I've been broadcasting on X, we're doing some work over there. So catch us over there. So if you want to help us out, a couple things that you should do. Number 1, hit that like button. Number 2, smash the subscribe. Number 3, poke the notification bell so you get notified whenever I put out new content. And number 4, share the show with everyone you know. That'll help us grow for show. I just wanted to, before I get off, one more thing I wanted to show you. Let me hit the button. Boom, boom, boom. Free Bitcoin. If you enjoy if you enjoy this music, I've got a brand new video going on. You might say, hey, you're live streaming right now, aren't you? Why, yes, I am. I am live streaming right now. But I'm also live streaming on my music channel. Isn't that interesting? So I'm literally live in 2 places. How does this work? Ask me on Discord. I'll tell you all about it. So if you like the music that you hear in the background of all of my videos, here it is, live 24 hours a day. And literally, it's really good. I put it on all the time, mostly because, I just want to listen to it. But yeah, it's good music. It's an hour and a half of music that just loops for 24 hours a day. So check it out. It's all the same music. And of course, this is just randomly shuffling. But over here, it's in a playlist. So check it out. If you like the music, check it out. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. It's beautiful to listen to. You get some upbeat stuff. It's good for working out. I put it on while I'm, doing my workout and things like that, and cardio and all that fun stuff. But anyway, here we are at the end. Finally, if you want to help out humanity in our mission of evolution, there's a couple things I will ask of you. Number 1, be kind to yourself. The person in the mirror is truly the only person who should matter the most to you. So be respectful of yourself. Number 2, be kind to other people, even if you think they don't deserve it. Be respectful to other people. Be kind. I don't know. And be. I forgot. Be nice to all the creatures on Earth, basically. Be nice to all Earthlings, big and small. If you've done all those things, and I know you haven't. Let's see if this is hooked up. Is it? No, it's not. There's no reverb. I'm going to have to fix that. Let's see real quick. It's worth it. Totally worth it. Effect. Reverb. I don't see my reverb. It's not doing anything. Anyway. Oh well. No reverb. Reverb send. Reverb send. I don't hear reverb. But if you've done all those things, and I know you haven't, there's only one thing left for you to do for the multiverse, for the universe, for the galaxy itself, for the planet. Now that we're back down to Earth, it's not funny anymore without the reverb. For your country, your community, your city, your block, your house, your street, your room, the most important thing for you to do is have a great night, and I will see you when I see you. Thank you. Have a great night.